you're not taking action and it's showing. I can tell that you are just overwhelmed, too tired, or you just start to procrastinate every time you decide to do something. And we're here to change that. 2026 is the year to lock in, right? 2016 was one of the best years ever. We want to make 2026 even greater. Right now, we're in our winter arc, so we want to lock in. Lock in meaning you understand what you're doing and you're doing it, but not forcefully. We're not forcefully trying to take action. I mean, you know your bad habits and you know how much they affect you. You know how much of a constraint that is on your life, and you are trapped. You feel trapped, and that's okay. That's okay because we're going to solve this today, right? Our objective: how to take action. How to take action is my calendar whiteboard. It's going to be my buddy for today. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And one of my shorts got 106,000 views. That's crazy. I love that. So how to take action, but how to take action from a state of flow state. How to take action, not trying to overcome a bad habit, but you are here now. Just, okay, I gotta do this. Now I'm gonna take this action. Step number one, we need to identify the cue that causes the response that we don't want. What is the response that we don't want? Procrastination, scrolling on your phone, avoiding tasks, right? Doing something that has no meaning in your life or that just doesn't move the needle. There's so many, but we want to focus on procrastination because that I feel like encapsulates all the things that we should not be doing, it rather than what we should be doing, such as tasks like studying for your exams if you're in college, studying for exams if you're in high school, approaching women if you're a man and if you're too scared to do that, approaching men if you're a girl, or if you're a man too, doesn't matter, approaching somebody that you're scared to talk, even talking to other, as a guy, talking to other men, having a casual conversation, catching up, right? Or let's say for work, right? You need to excel in the workplace. You need to get a new job, apply to jobs, contact recruiters, contact people to get references, build your network. Anyways, we want to take those actions from a state of flow state. Step one, identify those cues. What is causing me to procrastinate? And that could be feelings, right? That could be feelings. That could be outer circumstances, right? And we could break feelings. Let's see. We could break feelings up into boredom, right? We could break feelings up into boredom. We could break feelings up into low self-esteem, right? Low self-esteem. That's another factor on why you just don't do things. Let's see what else we can break things down into. Overwhelmness, right? Overwhelmness. Before you take on a task, you're feeling overwhelmed, aren't you? There's so many things that you have to take into factor or take into account that you have to factor in, right? You feel overwhelmed and like you just don't know what to do. Don't know what to do, right? Or we could go the perfectionist route. What is the perfect action to take? What is the perfect action to take? All right. So we just listed down a decent amount of cues. And I feel like if you could resonate with one of them, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you resonate with any of those cues, because I resonate with those cues, right? And this YouTube channel is for me to document my journey on overcoming these cues and becoming the best version and best man that I could ever be, and chasing the dreams that I want to chase and doing the things that I would love to do. And whether that's right, that doesn't just mean starting a business, also means career, right? I want to become a great financial analyst or accountant. I want to get that step in, show that I can do this. Like that is a skill. Getting into Google, Microsoft, or Amazon, that's a skill. That's a dream that people have, and that's okay. It's not just entrepreneurship, not just living your best life, um, dating, adventures, all that. We got our cue. Now, what are the responses that come from that cue? Like we said, let's just say procrastination. That's a huge response, right? We can also say when studying, right? You start studying and you think you're doing good, but then you start doing lazy stuff. You start doing lazy things because the cue of boredom or not knowing what to do or exhaustion and overwhelmingness causes you to start taking notes that are just lazy. You start chat GPTing answers instead of trying to figure out and critically think on your own. You start maybe, for example, I'm day trading. You start ignoring the cues and what you're actually supposed to do, the system that you're following, you get a little sloppy, right? So these responses, we don't want them anymore. We want to take those out and replace them. So we have, right, old habit. We have the cue. Oh, this marker is like dying. Cue, old habit. We want to substitute in new habit. We want to substitute in a new habit when that cue pops up. Okay? Because one thing we need to know about this cue, we don't need to change the cue. Okay? The cue might just change on its own, but also the cue, it's normal. Feeling overwhelmed, we're human beings. It's normal to feel overwhelmed. It's normal to feel any bad emotion. I see this on social media. You shouldn't be, you should be happy for your friends, right? Fuck that. Oh, I gotta stop. I wanna. I don't want to stop. I don't want to curse. No, you should feel happy for your friends, but if you're feeling envious or jealousy, that's okay. That's normal. That is normal. Why? Because you're not happy where you're at and you're comparing yourself, and that is so normal. You don't need to feel bad. Anyways, it's another topic I could rant on. New habit replaces old habit. How do we get to this new habit to replace the old habit? Now, step two. Step two. Oh. Step two is judging your cue. Judging your cue. What are you judging and how are you judging your cue? We just started this process. I just said nothing needs to change with the cue. We want to focus on this old habit and replace it with the new one. Right? We want to, and this is all this information is based on from Dr. Sung, who teaches you how to learn. Check him out on YouTube. Great videos. New habit replaces old habit. Okay? And we want to judge this cue as it's okay, it's there, and understand that, hey, what I can do here now, right? Because I'm aware, right, of this old habit. When it happens, that cue, right? I'm just aware of the cue, and I'm aware that, hey, I'm gonna start doing this old habit now. Like, I'm gonna start going on my phone, or like now I'm on my phone, or I'm procrastinating. You are just aware of it. That you are just in that zone of just doing the old habit. You want to move away from that zone. How do you do it? We place our awareness, our monitoring, our thinking on the new habit by recognizing the cue and then scripting out or imagining what we will do when that cue pops up, and we will perform that new habit in our mind. That's it. That's step number two, and that is what we are going to primarily focus on. How do we even get to doing step number two, right? Because you can say, okay, now I feel overwhelmed imagining, like there's so many things that I could do, like oh my god, oh my god. Now you can see that you have another cue when imagining, right? When imagining, you have another cue, and then that response is overwhelmingness. And then, oh no, that cue is overwhelmingness, right? Coming from not knowing what to do, that's two cues right there. And then your response is to like shut down, not imagine, not script out what you'll do when that cue pops up. And now you feel trapped again. But then we just reintroduce that. We are noticing the cue, right? We're noticing the cue then. Like, we just come back to it. We're noticing the cue that of like that overwhelmness, um, of not knowing what to do. You're noticing it. You're monitoring it. Go again. We're gonna try to imagine this again. Of okay, I feel overwhelmed on imagining. I'm gonna imagine and script out, write down like, hey, when I start doing step two, I am going to see that, going to see me being overwhelmed, going to see me not knowing what to do. There's nothing I need to change. I'm going to imagine it anyways. Now, conceptually, why can we imagine this? Why can we do this? I want to add in a little spice, something that I study and how I operate throughout this world, because I want to be living the best life I could possibly live. I want to understand, or I wanted to know, how can I be above everything? And that's having a strong sense of self, right? Strong sense of self meaning that you understand that nothing has power over you. However, I understand that concept, right? How can I implement it and make it an actionable item, right? That's where this little space between the cue and the old habit, we need to put in, right? Knowing that we are all perspectives, that we can take into account any perspective and truly live there. Right? What is the difference between you saying like where you're at right now in life, right? I am living in my parents' house. Like, that's fact, right? That's a fact. What's the difference between you saying I'm living in my parents' house versus I'm living in a high-rise apartment? The difference obviously is you're not living in that high-rise apartment, but what feels real is you living in this house. But you can say I'm living in that high-rise apartment, but you want it to feel real, right? To even believe that, you want it to feel real, and maybe understand conceptually that that you saying I'm living in that high-rise apartment, that is true. That is true because you can declare that. You can declare anything, right? But it feels exhausting and not real when we just keep saying that, and we're not really replacing this focus and fact that we are living here in this like reality, or like this part of perception, right? Can we slowly replace that part of perception of us thinking that we're trapped? That's part of the cue, right? The cue, being trapped, right? Feeling overwhelmed, right? Not believing, right? Um, what did I just say the cue was? Exhaustion, right? Exhaustion from trying to even imagine, trying to even change your life, right? Feel those cues, feel and monitor them, be aware. We can just go with step one, be aware of the cue, and keep going on about your day. Be aware of the cue, but now when the cue pops up, let's judge it righteously. Judge it from a place of knowing, or just a place of understanding that your perception can be anything. So now, because your perception can be anything, you can now go and script out the new habit. You can script out the new habit, and you can say, hey, when this cue pops up, I know that I usually do this, I procrastinate. How would I like to respond instead? I would like to, okay, when I feel overwhelmed, I'm going to know that I'm God, and I'm going to write down a list of things I need to do. Okay, now I'm gonna break those down on, okay, what do I need to tackle for this task, like in like little detail. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Keep just imagining that, and then when you feel exhausted from imagining it, you understand that imagining and that exhaustion is the cue, right? You're monitoring it now. You're not like, because it's a difference of like you being. I gotta stop saying like. I'm monitoring that I'm saying like. I'm being aware that I'm continuously saying like. So the cue is me trying to come up with a sentence and me trying to think too fast and think that I need to speak in a way that you guys need to understand, but it has to happen right now or I'm going to lose people's attention. Okay? So I slow it down. And this new habit, instead, I'm going to imagine myself speaking as if I understood how to speak eloquently, that I don't say like, that I use words and I use full sentences to convey the message that I want to convey. And I'm not pressured into saying like, and I'm not pressured into filling the space of emptiness, of pauses. I let it sit there. I let myself do my thing. Now, that is me scripting and implementing the new habit and imagining it. I just did it out loud just now, but that's how you want to do it in your head, and you continuously do it. We keep staying on step 2 until you feel comfortable to execute. And the good thing about this is just to know that this does not need to take a lot of time. This does not need to take a lot of time. You can change the way that you respond to your cues in a day, in a week, in a month. But it depends on who you are, right? And there's no rush. There is no rush, right? Enjoy life. There is no rush. But this is a good understanding on how to accept the exhaustion. We don't need to battle it. Accept the overwhelmness, accept the not knowingness, and come up from a different angle, because we are so focused on being aware of that cue, the bad habit. When we get to separate ourselves and be more aware of just monitoring the habit, monitoring the cue, knowing that that is holding us back, that is a constraint. Now we can focus on the new habit. We can relax. Instead, we'll sit down and script out the new habit. We'll pause, we'll close our eyes and imagine the new habit so we can take that action on the basis of understanding. Remember, basis of understanding that we are all perceptions right here, right now, that we can imagine and say I am to anything, and that can feel true and that can be true. Our brain is just exhausted from trying to work and take action when we feel the cue, and like we just, when we feel the cue and we feel exhausted, when we feel the cue, when we feel overwhelmed, our brain is exhausted taking action based off that, coming off that exhaustion, coming off that not knowingness, right? But when you make a new habit in your mind and you script it, it's pre-planning your next action. It's pre-planning your next move. It's giving you an idea of what to do instead of being overwhelmed on tasks and things that you need to do and not doing them because it's so much work and you don't feel like doing it. We want to stop taking action from that place. The third step is to execute. When you feel comfortable, you execute and you start taking action. But this action is flow state action. It's not action against the grain. It's not action against the current. We are taking action from a state of seeing ourselves already take this action. We have scripted that we have already taken this action, that we do this, and it's a regular thing that we do. It's now a new habit, and we are replacing it. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. This is a new technique or a new way of living. And if you can implement this, and remember that conception of perception, right? There's levels to it where I take it to scripture or religious texts, and I understand that God, Jesus, Allah, all of them, Krishna, have been messaging us that we are the creator of our lives. That it's not, there's no thing around us that has power over us. That exhaustion has no power over us. That not knowing has no power over us. It's our awareness that is the power. You're aware of the cue. Can you kind of get yourself to monitor the cue by noticing, kind of writing down, hey, what are my cues, right? What are my cues? What are my cues that lead to the bad habit responses? Write those down, and then start asking yourself, when I feel those cues, what is it that I will decide to do for next time, right? And then now you just script it out, you write it down, or you imagine yourself doing it, because you know that you can experience all perceptions, because nothing has power over you. You can experience all perceptions because, like we know, right? Everyone says it, there's only this present moment. Meaning there's only this present moment. There's only this present moment, meaning that you are here and now. All of this around you, it's part of being here and now, and it's aligned, right? Part of it being here and now, it's aligned with everything else that's here and now as well. So you can choose what you want your perception to be on. It's taking out the importance from here of everything around us by knowing that you can be all perceptions, right? And not even taking out the importance. It's more just placing your awareness and imagining that new habit. Because you're literally taking that power away from this old habit by deciding and putting your imagination on that new habit and doing that for a bit. And then you do that same process if you don't feel like imagining. You understand the cue. Why are you not imagining? What leads you to taking the bad habit of not imagining, of not scripting, of not doing that work? What's the cue? Okay, script out what I'm gonna do next time I don't feel like I want to imagine. What's the step that you can take next time you don't feel like you don't want to imagine? I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna just write down 5 key words of what I could do. Simplify it. Can you make it actionable, right? Get to a point of what you're deciding to do can be actionable for you. What is it that can be actionable for you? And you're gonna see this compound, and it's gonna be magical. So yes, guys, thank you for watching this video. It's all about taking action from a flow state and not taking action from forcing yourself to do the tasks that you don't want to do, from a place of feeling overwhelmed and not confident and not sure if you can even do this correctly. It doesn't matter if you can do it correctly, right? It matters from what place are you taking this action from, and then you'll learn as you go how to reflect on what you just did and take a new action, take a new direction. But you're all doing this from a state of flow state. You're not frustrated, you're not overwhelmed, you're not knowing what to do in terms of like just being confused and not sure of yourself. So this is very important. I hope you watched the whole video. Appreciate it. Much love. You guys have a phenomenal day, because I will.